Alright, so subject is pentatonic diatonic overlaps, as well as getting good at doing like pentatonic play and point everywhere. Being able to just go, I'm at this fret, I want to play this pentatonic, and just like we would go, I want to play in C major, I'm going to play number 3. You can do the equivalent with minor and major pentatonic roots. So if you have it somewhere, first just go back and go over your 5 pentatonic fingerings autonomously, which we learned in CA minor. We've got our main box here, and we've got this one back here where, like I'm talking about, we're so often playing exactly there, transitioning. You're sliding a lot on your ring finger this week and bending more often than you usually would. Those are your general noodling assignments. The index finger exception being like just like sliding into a bad example. Sliding into a note, that nuance, rather than I was here and then I went there. Cool. So then we're in our main box, and that's in our 1. 2 and 3 part of the fretboard. When we get to number 4, which we notice has this chord in it, before we notice that back to where we were, there's C, A shape, which has 1 on top of it, 2 on top of it, C, and then we do a lot of like using that part of the chord while we this part doing various things in front of it, so that's all occurring in a number 3. So just there we are, A shape wise. We got your 1, 2, 3 main box behind the box stuff. Whereas up here, number 4, the one where we're just choosing to focus on this part for pentatonic, is right on top of that. And like I said during the lesson, so you can totally be going, and think I'm playing number 4, no less than going be able to do that with this finger. So yeah, there we are, classic kind of, I could be playing a single notey type of 4 finger and then we'll move up and that type of thing. Cool, so pentatonic 3 doesn't have a good C in it on the bass strings. All the ones we just discussed are orienting around A and C on the bass strings, around this main box. Now we're going to be hanging out around this A, C here, so, you might even go, here's my 5th string box, where we either do it this way, when you do things like this, or we just then, after this note, which you'd pinky, you just index ring to through the whole thing, so that you can do that's 4, and then back behind that, where we just have an A on top of our 6, we've got this 3 in a row. Certainly not going this way. 1 weird note. Not 1. So like, A minor, A major, A minor is right there. Where we're doing this stuff. Plus do the same thing in D. This would be that same position that we've just been discussing, where I can then like play 7 instead. So there we go, so learning, just go back and see and plug it in, finish as you go, make sure you're using the right fingers, and then, we've got jam instructions on the page. When you feel like you've got it down structurally, then you can try starting somewhere in the fretboard and going up pentatonic, down diatonic, or up diatonic, down pentatonic, plus the main box, number 3 area, playing number 3. And coming down blue scale, I just did pull off for the hell of it, or I'm playing on blue scale. And then coming down and going, here's everything I could hit. And back behind that, we'd have like number 1 with this on top of it, or doing this. It's either way the goal is to cement that I can do this or that, I can do this or that, and as usual, thinking about it in both orders is how we get it to really sit in our long-term memory versus having to think about one versus the other. Just like already probably that number 3, number 1 box area is standing out for you, and you can find it anywhere. No longer a concept you even need to think about consciously. You know that those two are on top of each other, whatever else we're up to.
Right.
Just getting that simple with everything else. Cool, so the other thing we discussed was using your number 1 pentatonic box as the major pentatonic for chord changey type song. And this is the thing I wrote on the page with the asterisk where it says chord change songs. So, you know, we're used to this song is an A, whatever, we're going to play pentatonic 1, index on it. Instead, you know, we're talking about A major song, it goes pinky on the root on the bass string, and then whether you put this note in or not, that sounds like you're playing an all-in-roller solo. A minor pentatonic is the C major pentatonic. Then you also see sounds bright. Sounds like blues, dark minor, played the same exact lick, played a C, played an A minor. Cool, so there it is. And next is modal playing, which is far less useful than everything we've covered so far. Probably 98% of rock lead guitar, rock jam bands, etc. Everything except fusiony things is going to be some variation on these chord shapes we've learned, and exactly these scales played in one way or another. Though, just like you asked during the class, ultimately it'll be like easier to play fast and set fingering, but then it's no less number 1 to be like than doing that. But either way, here we are. We also talked about branching out to, you know, a secondary key, thinking about G major with 1 and 2 and 3 up here, G major, which is also E minor. So let's start with, which is the key we play in a lot, doing these kinds of either bluegrassy or bluesy licks we're going to go between, you know, equivalent, whatever, and there's the screen. About just because everything's in drastically different parts of the fretboard. Having thought about G, you'll have an easier time thinking, or I could do that in F. Like we said in the lesson, just like you could right now think about the key of D major more easily, probably because you can just picture everything with the 2 frets up. So they kind of, you know, for a lot of people, I've said kind of a lot in the last few minutes. Literally, you will benefit from doing 2 keys, using our landmark approach to, I haven't quite learned to do all of this instantly yet, where we're going C sharp in our head. Similarly, you'll think of C major and G major as the primary places you learn these, but it'll be easier to think about F from having, you know, thought about G. I know you understand this concept, just kind of grand scheme of things. So there you go, enjoy it. Really just kind of here's these pentatonic and diatonic overlaps and noticing how the chords fit into them.